The studio was buzzing with the usual daytime energy. Cameras rolled, lights glowed warmly, and the audience murmured with anticipation. It was supposed to be a normal episode, a celebrity appearance to fill airtime. But anyone who has been on television knows that ego and experience collide in unpredictable ways. Jennifer Lopez walked in, her presence quiet yet commanding. She smiled politely at the audience, shook hands with the crew, and sat down. No diva theatrics, no drama. Just the calm confidence of a woman who had survived 3 decades in a cutthroat industry, music, movies, fashion, and business, and refused to be diminished by anyone. Across the table, Joy Behar waited, her smile barely hiding that sharp, condescending edge she brings to interviews she wants to dominate. The tension was subtle, almost invisible, but it was there. Joy leaned forward. "Jennifer," she began, "you've been famous for decades. Music, movies, fashion, business. But some critics argue that fame drives your influence more than your talent. How do you respond to that?" Jennifer paused. Silence stretched just enough to make the audience lean in. Then she spoke, calm, measured, unshakable. "Surviving publicly for decades isn't about fame," Jennifer said. "It's about resilience, discipline, hard work, and I've built my career by proving I belong every single day." Applause rippled through the studio. The audience could feel the weight behind her words. Joy pressed on, leaning slightly closer. "But surely you know there are singers who sing better, actors who act better. Isn't it possible that image keeps you relevant more than substance?" Jennifer smiled faintly, a warmth masking a sharp edge. "Image never saved me when doors were closed, when opportunities were denied, when I had to rebuild from scratch. Discipline saved me, persistence saved me, and perseverance saved me." The audience was quiet now, captivated. Joy's expression tightened. "And what about influence?" Joy asked. "Do you really think your work matters beyond entertainment?" Jennifer leaned forward, her voice calm but edged with intensity. "It matters to the people who need it. The single mother in New York who listens to my music on a long commute. The young girl in Lowe's Angels seeing someone who looks like her succeed. The man in Texas who laughs at a film I starred in after a hard day. That is influence." Joy's smirk faltered. She tried another angle. "But critics say your work is commercial. Popularity isn't importance." Jennifer's smile widened, knowing. "Joy, commercial or not, laughter, inspiration, and hope are never meaningless. I've received emails, letters, messages. People tell me I kept them going through chemotherapy, heartbreak, depression. That is important." The studio erupted in applause. This was no polite clapping. It was standing ovations. Joy's composure was slipping. Her questions grew sharper, but Jennifer deflected them effortlessly, turning critique into a demonstration of endurance and grace. Finally, Joy Behar stood abruptly. "This is absurd. I have better things to do than—" Her words trailed as she walked off the set. The audience gasped. Cameras captured the unprecedented moment, the host walking off her own show. Jennifer remained seated, calm, composed, and silent. She hadn't raised her voice. She hadn't insulted anyone. She didn't need to. Her quiet authority had done all the work. In that moment, the cameras weren't capturing an interview anymore. They were capturing a lesson. Power doesn't argue. Confidence doesn't need to defend itself. Sometimes, refusing to be rattled is the most devastating weapon. Jennifer Lopez turned to the audience, smiling softly, her voice warm. She spoke of what mattered, the people she touched through her work, the resilience she had built, the discipline and persistence that kept her going. She reminded everyone why her influence went far beyond entertainment. The audience rose to their feet. Clips of the moment would go viral within hours. Headlines screamed. Jennifer Lopez outshines Joy Behar as host walks off live. Jennifer's presence lingered long after the cameras stopped rolling. Calm, unshakable, unforgettable. A reminder to millions that real power isn't loud. It's enduring, it's graceful. And Joy Behar. She had left the stage, a rare reminder that even experience falters when it meets someone who refuses to play by the expected rules. From the first moment Jennifer Lopez sat across the table from Joy Behar, the energy was electric. On paper, it was just another daytime interview, a legendary celebrity meeting a seasoned host. But beneath the cameras, lights, and scripted questions, something much more intense was brewing. Joy Behar, a veteran of the talk show battlefield, had a reputation. She dominates conversations. She doesn't just ask questions, she controls narratives, tests guests, and watches for cracks to exploit. Jennifer, however, wasn't a guest who could be cornered. She had survived an industry designed to discard women, an audience trained to scrutinize every misstep. She knew how to handle aggression, not by fighting fire with fire, but by turning calm into power. Joy began softly, almost conversationally. Jennifer, you've been everywhere: music, movies, fashion, business. Critics sometimes say fame drives your relevance more than talent. Do you agree? It was subtle, but it was designed to provoke. Jennifer leaned back, eyes steady. I don't measure relevance by opinion. I measure it by impact, by the lives I touch, by the work I produce consistently. The audience murmured. They could feel the tension building. Joy leaned in, sharper now. But surely, you know there are singers who sing better, actors who act better. Isn't it possible that you're carried more by image than substance? Jennifer's response was measured but deadly. Image has never saved me when I was told no. Talent opens doors, but discipline and persistence keep you inside. I've rebuilt my career multiple times. That is substance. Joy's expression tightened. She attempted another move. And influence. Does your work really matter beyond entertainment? Jennifer leaned forward slightly, her calm warmth hiding precision. It matters to the single mother who listens to my songs to get through a 12-hour shift. It matters to the girl who sees someone like her succeed on screen. It matters to the man who laughs after a long day because one of my movies reminded him life isn't over yet. That is influence. The balance had shifted. Joy's smirk faltered. The questions came faster now, sharper, more pointed, trying to corner Jennifer into admitting vulnerability. Jennifer didn't flinch. Instead, she turned every critique into proof of resilience. Joy, she said softly, I don't need approval. My work exists whether you validate it or not. A hush fell over the studio. The energy had changed. Viewers watching at home could sense the power struggle. Joy tried to regain control. But some argue that being commercial isn't the same as being important. Jennifer's reply landed like a precision strike. If making someone smile, inspiring someone to persevere, or giving hope through entertainment is commercial, then I am proud to be commercial. That is important to the people who matter, the ones living real lives, not debating from a pedestal. Joy's frustration was visible. Her chair scraped as she shifted, trying to regain the upper hand. But Jennifer's calm authority made the room feel smaller, her composure magnifying Joy's agitation. Finally, Joy Behar stood up, her voice cracked slightly, tinged with anger. This is ridiculous. I don't have time to argue with someone who... The words trailed. She walked off live television. The studio went silent. Cameras captured the historic moment, the host abandoning the stage because the guest refused to be rattled. Jennifer Lopez remained seated, serene, a quiet smile on her lips. She had demonstrated something rare: power without aggression, dominance without hostility, confidence without confrontation. Within minutes, clips of the confrontation exploded online. Social media buzzed, headlines read. Jennifer Lopez stays calm as Joy Behar walks off live. Host versus superstar, who really won? Jennifer turned to the audience, composed, explaining that impact matters more than approval, that resilience and discipline outweigh criticism, and that true influence is measured not by headlines, but by the lives touched. By the end of the show, it was clear. Jennifer Lopez had won without raising her voice, proving that sometimes the smartest strategy is refusing to play by someone else's rules. The cameras rolled, the audience clapped, and Jennifer Lopez walked in, calm, poised, ready to shine. Across the table, Joy Behar sat with her trademark smirk, sharp, condescending, confident that she controlled the narrative. But the universe had other plans. This wasn't going to be a standard interview. It was a collision of ego versus endurance, authority versus calm, and experience versus presence. Joy started light. Jennifer, you've been everywhere: music, movies, fashion, business. But some say fame is bigger than talent. Thoughts? Jennifer didn't rush. She didn't react. She just smiled. Impact matters more than opinion, she said. I've survived decades by earning every opportunity, not by waiting for validation. The audience murmured. Joy leaned in. Surely, someone else is more talented, right? Isn't it image keeping you relevant? Jennifer's answer cut clean through the tension. Talent opens doors. Discipline keeps you inside. I've rebuilt myself multiple times. That's substance. Joy's smirk faltered. She tried another jab. But does your work really matter beyond entertainment? Jennifer leaned forward, calm as ever. It matters to the single mom who needs my music to get through her day. It matters to the girl seeing someone like her succeed. It matters to the man laughing after a hard day because my movie reminded him life isn't over. Boom, studio energy shifted. The host's control was slipping. Joy tried to recover, but some say commercial work isn't important work. Jennifer's reply landed like a headline. If giving hope, joy, and inspiration is commercial, then I'm proud. That is importance. Now it was undeniable. The host was losing control. Frustration overtook her professionalism. Joy Behar stood abruptly. This is absurd. I don't have time to argue with someone who. The stage was set, cameras focused. The audience waited. Jennifer Lopez walked in, calm, poised, radiating decades of experience. Across from her, Joy Behar smiled, poised for her usual mix of charm and challenge. This wasn't about music, movies, or fashion. This was about legacy, about influence, about a woman standing strong against someone trained to unsettle her. Joy opened with a question carefully crafted to test Jennifer's composure. Jennifer, you've been famous for so long. Some critics say success comes from image rather than talent. How do you respond? Jennifer's smile was calm, measured. Joy, image fades. Talent can open doors, but discipline, persistence, and integrity are what sustain you over decades. I've built a career not by pleasing critics, but by staying true to myself and impacting those who watch, listen, or are inspired by my work. The audience felt it immediately. This wasn't just words, this was experience speaking. Joy pushed further. But doesn't popularity outweigh actual importance? Jennifer nodded, soft but firm. Popularity is fleeting. What matters are the lives touched. The letters from people saying my work helped them through chemotherapy, heartbreak, or depression. The young girl seeing someone who looks like her succeed. The man laughing after a long day because a movie I made reminded him life isn't over. That is real importance. Joy's smirk faltered. She tried to regain control, but Jennifer had shifted the power entirely. Not with anger, not with confrontation, but with calm authority and authentic presence. I've lived long enough, Jennifer continued, to know that influence isn't about being the loudest voice. It's about consistency, respect, and presence. It's about leaving something behind that matters to people, not just headlines. Joy's questions grew sharper, her tone more pointed. Jennifer leaned forward, eyes steady. Joy, I don't need approval from anyone. What I do is for those who need it most, not for applause or validation. That's legacy. The tension reached its peak. The host, frustrated by the lack of reaction, stood abruptly. This is ridiculous. I don't have time for this. And then history happened. Joy Behar walked off live television. The studio fell silent. Cameras captured Jennifer Lopez, seated, composed, radiating grace and confidence. She hadn't raised her voice, attacked anyone, or acted defensively. She had simply shown what true power and legacy look like. Within hours, the moment went viral. Social media buzzed with clips and commentary. Jennifer legacy. Grace wins, Joy walks off, iconic TV moment. Jennifer turned to the audience, her voice soft but resonant. Real influence isn't about winning arguments or silencing criticism. It's about touching lives, inspiring people, and showing that resilience, integrity, and kindness matter more than immediate applause. By the end of the episode, everyone understood. Jennifer Lopez had done more than survive a tense interview. She had taught a lesson on respect, dignity, and long-term legacy. Joy Behar had left the stage. Jennifer remained. And the message was clear. Grace, patience, and authenticity always outlast ego and confrontation.